The Type R is the high-performance version of the very popular and iconic Honda Civic. This one, known as the FL5, was launched a year ago in the Philippines, and now we finally have it with us. So, let's check it out. So, much like the older EK9, this new FL5 has more subtle and mature styling, but it still hides sporty elements such as its wider fenders and a different bumper. Compared to the RS, this no longer has its fog lights down here, but it still retains its full suite of LED lighting elements here. Oh, and in terms of ventilation, you do get a bigger grille down below, and of course the red Honda logo here and the Type R badge as well. And least I forget, it also comes with ventilation up here to help suck out the heat from the very hot engine bay. So moving on to the side, let's start with these gorgeous 19-inch alloy wheels. They are wrapped in 265 30 series Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires. While these are good, grippy, and add to the handling of the car, I'd rather switch them out for something a little bit bigger in terms of sidewall size, or maybe downsize the rim to make sure that the tires are a little bit wider. Anyway, aside from that, you do get these vents that help shove all the air around the body of the Type R, and of course the side skirt down here, which are a little bit low to the ground. I mean, it might be a hassle when it comes to humps. Aside from that though, you have this really nice body line here that accentuates the fact that it's a Type R. So speaking of hatchbacks, it's evident that this is a hatchback thanks to its sloping roofline at the back and its unique taillights. This is different compared to that of the sedan. And aside from that though, it has this nice, rather bulbous rear, which kind of makes me want to slap it. Anyway, you also get these nice diffuser down here and the iconic triple exhaust, which sounds a little quieter compared to that of the FK8. Aside from that though, you get this really nice fixed spoiler and of course another red Honda logo badge down here and the third brake light positioned right here. So while we're back here, let's talk about its luggage space. Well, you're looking at around 410 liters with the second row up, which is enough space for me and some overnight luggage. Alright, so let's go to the second row of the Type R, and you really don't get much back here aside from, well, bottle holders on either side and these cup holders down in the middle. Also, seating is kind of limited in there, so you can only have like 2 people unless the third guy is willing to stay here and have his family jewels hang out where cup holders are. So now we're in the front row of the Type R, and well, you are greeted by these gorgeous red bucket seats, semi-bucket seats, and red floor mats with matching red carpet. Aside from that though, you get this nice steering wheel with Alcantara that's kind of worn out already because other people use this car. And you have Honda's minimalist design language. You also get a customizable digital display here and a 9-inch infotainment system that comes with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Unfortunately, one of the USB ports doesn't work for this, so I can't use Android Auto, but wireless Apple CarPlay does work. So before we go out on the drive, I'll quickly talk about the other features of the infotainment system. You have a trip computer, which is handy if you're kind of hypermiling Type R, which is an unlikely situation. It also comes with a built-in navigation system, which will help you go to where you want to go, just without the traffic updates. And of course, it has the Honda Log R feature, which lets you score yourself and acts as another set of gauges for important things you want to measure, like coolant temperature, oil temperature, and your boost. Aside from that though, it also works in tandem with the function button found on the steering wheel if you do want to time yourself with, lap times and stuff if you're going on the racetrack. So we're now driving the Honda Civic Type R, and it feels like any other modern manual car to drive, with the exception of having a 2-liter turbocharged gasoline engine with VTEC under the hood. Now for power figures, this bad boy produces 320 horsepower and 420 Newton meters of torque. Of course, it is mated to a 6-speed manual transmission. What I can tell you is if you're driving it along like a normal person, keeping it within the speed limit and are under, 60 kilometers per hour, this guy is actually pretty fuel efficient. You can get around, at worst, in heavy traffic, 6 kilometers per liter. And if things open up and, just goes with the flow, well, you're looking at around 10. On a good day, might even reach 11. Now, on the highway, again, driving like a responsible person, you're gonna look at around, on a bad day, 12 with a little more, traffic on the highway. But if things are open up and clear and you're just chugging along, coasting along at around 80 kilometers per hour, then you can expect figures as high as 17 kilometers per liter. But on average, with us driving on NLEX, we were able to get around 13.5 to 6, which isn't actually bad. Now, in terms of being a performance car, which the Type R is, well, it's a whole different world if you're coming from a regular vehicle like me. For context, I drive a Honda Jazz, and that bad boy only has a naturally aspirated 1.5 under the hood, which it produces like 120 horsepower and 145 newton meters of torque. So I really have to rev it out to get the power that I want. But with the Type R, everything is made easy because once you exceed around 2,500 RPM and the turbo comes online, you're gonna be rocketing to, well, barely highway legal speeds in a matter of seconds. And for context, the Honda Civic Type R hits 0 to 100 in about 5.4 to 5.5 seconds, which for a normal person like me that doesn't drive a performance car on a daily basis is a mind-boggling experience. Because when I first did a 0 to 100 pull in this thing, my mind couldn't keep up with the acceleration. And, well, it wasn't a bad thing, but like, holy crap, it impressed me. Aside from that, though, I tried the handling characteristics of it. I tried to, I brought it on a mountain pass and just tried to feel out how the car would feel if I were to corner it like I would my Jazz. And, well, I was awestruck with the performance because it corners like it was on rails. It also helps that the Civic Type R, this FL5 version, comes with Brembo brakes, which, grabe, like, it blew me away with its stopping power. Aside from that, the vehicle stability system is also very, very intuitive. By that, I mean it let me have a little bit of fun. It helped me, it let me rotate the car to a certain degree. And then, it saved me when I had a incident where a car in front of me suddenly stopped and the rear of the car kind of swung out. So the traction control, in combination with the dynamic vehicle stability assist or whatever it's called, really comes in handy when you're driving regularly or when you're having fun. Aside from that, the driving modes such as individual, comfort, and of course R+ are like night and day difference. If you're driving it in comfort, it's a good driving mode to be in if you're just puttering around the city. Sport, if you want a little more responsiveness from the engine, and if you go to R+, well, that's for racing. And it just tightens everything up and the car just, like, again, corners like it's on rails. So, all in all, the Honda Civic Type R FL5 is the pinnacle of what the brand has to offer in terms of front-wheel drive performance for the Philippine market. But it does raise the question, is it a different animal and the same beast compared to the FK8? Well, yes and no. But let me explain. The FL5 still offers you the practicality of a hatchback paired with the power of a familiar 2-liter turbocharged VTEC engine under the hood, just with a slight bump in power over its predecessor. It also has more mature styling and a wider stance compared to the FK8, which translates to, well, slightly improved handling. However, Honda has improved the cooling system, which was a slight issue for the FK8, which now lets you use the FL5 longer on track without its temperatures rising. Despite these changes, the FL5 is still a great hot hatchback, one that can be used as a daily if you don't mind its manual transmission, low ground clearance, and low profile tires. However, it does face some stiff competition from the likes of the Nissan Z, which has a similar price point of around 3.8 million. This can be a deal breaker, especially for those who prefer rear-wheel drive. To sum it all up, it's still a different animal in terms of styling and features, but it's still the same front-wheel drive beast like the FK8, just with slightly better performance.